Imagine you're walking to work and your phone's down to 5%. You're panicking because you need that battery to last the whole day. But what if every step you're taking right now could be charging your phone? Sounds crazy, right? Well, a guy from Kenya just made it happen. And this isn't some futuristic concept, it's a real one. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this invention could change everything about how we think about energy. So here's the thing, we've all been there. You're out, your phone's dying, and there's no outlet in sight. You start doing that weird thing where you turn down the brightness, close every app, and pray your battery lasts just a little long. It's annoying, it's stressful, and honestly, it's kind of ridiculous that in 2025, we're still dealing with this. But while most of us were busy complaining, one guy decided to do something about it. His name is Anthony Mutua, and back in 2012, this young Kenyan inventor unveiled something that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie, a shoe that charges your phone while you walk. Let me say that again. A shoe that charges your phone just by walking.
This charger works using pressure. As you walk, you generate pressure that in turn generates energy. Once you have arrived where you are going, you can now sit down and charge your mobile phone.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. How does it work? Is it actually real? And why haven't we heard more about this? Stick around because I'm going to break down everything you need to know about Anthony Mutua's charging shoe. How it works, why it matters, and what this could mean for the future of energy. Anthony Mutua isn't some random guy who woke up one day and thought, let me make a shoe. He's an electrical and design expert, an entrepreneur, an inventor, and the founder and CEO of a company called Mutua Technologies. This guy knows what he's doing, and his invention isn't just clever, it's practical, innovative, and honestly, kind of genius. The idea came from a simple observation. People walk a lot. Every single day, billions of people around the world are taking thousands of steps going to work, running errands, exercising, just living their lives. All that movement, all that energy is just being wasted, it goes nowhere and does nothing. So Anthony thought, what if we could capture that energy? What if we could turn all those steps into electricity, not just for fun, but to actually power our devices, to charge our phones, to solve a real problem? And that's exactly what he did. Here's how it works. Inside the sole of the shoe, Anthony embedded an ultra-thin chip made of special crystals. These aren't your regular crystals, they're piezoelectric crystals. Now, don't worry, you don't need a science degree to understand this. Piezoelectric just means that when you put pressure on these crystals, they generate electricity. It's a natural property of certain materials. When you squeeze them, they produce an electrical charge. It's the same technology used in things like lighters and some sensors, but Anthony took that concept and applied it to footwear. So every time you take a step, your foot presses down on the sole, that pressure squeezes the crystals, and those crystals generate a tiny bit of electricity. One step doesn't generate much, but think about how many steps you take in a day. Thousands, maybe 10,000 or more if you're active. All those tiny bits of electricity add up, and that is the magic of this invention. The chip is designed to be incredibly thin. We're talking ultra thin here, so it doesn't make your shoe uncomfortable. You're not walking around feeling like you've got a brick in your sole. It's integrated right into the design. You can barely tell it's there, but it's working constantly with every step. Now here is where it gets even cooler. That electricity isn't just floating around in your shoe doing nothing. It is being stored. The shoe has a built-in storage system. Think of it like a tiny battery. As you walk, the energy gets collected and saved. Then, when you need to charge your phone or any small device, you can tap into that stored energy. You have two options for charging. Option 1. There is a cable that runs from the shoe up to your pocket. You plug your phone into it, and boom, you are charging on the go. Yes, you will have a wire coming out of your shoe. Yes, you might look a little weak, but you know what? You will also be the person with a charged phone while everyone else is desperately searching for an outlet. Option 2. You let the energy build up in the shoe's internal battery and charge your phone later. Maybe you go for a walk in the morning, store all that energy, and then when you sit down at lunch, you plug in your phone and charge it using the power you generated earlier. It is like banking your energy for later. And here is the kicker. This thing is efficient. Anthony claims that just an 800-meter walk can fully charge your phone. That is less than half a mile, a quick stroll around the block, a walk to the bus stop, nothing crazy, and you have a full battery. Think about how many times you walk that distance in a day without even thinking about it. Now imagine if every one of those walks was powering your phone. But it gets better. This chip is not some fragile piece of tech that breaks the first time you step in a puddle. It is built tough. The device is fully waterproof, dustproof, and mudproof. It is registered and approved by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. That means it has been tested, it meets safety standards, it is legit. You can wear these shoes in the rain, walk through dirt, go hiking, whatever. The chip keeps working, and it is designed to last up to 8 years. 8 years is longer than most people keep their phones. It is longer than most shoes last before they fall apart. And get this, the chip is transferable. You don't have to buy a new pair of special shoes every time. You can move the chip from one shoe to another. Feeling like wearing your sneakers today? Cool, slip the chip into those. Tomorrow you want to wear your boots? No problem, move the chip over. It is that simple. You are not locked into one pair of shoes. You have flexibility. Now let us talk about why this matters. Because this is not just a fun gadget. This is solving real problems. In Kenya, where Anthony is from, a lot of people don't have reliable access to electricity. Power outages are common. Some areas don't have electricity at all. But almost everyone has a mobile phone. Phones are how people communicate, how they access information, how they do business. So keeping that phone charged is not just convenient. It is essential. It is a lifeline. For someone living in a rural area without electricity, this shoe is a game changer. They don't need to find a charging station. They don't need to pay someone to charge their phone. They just walk. They go about their day and their phone stays charged. It is self-sufficient. It is empowering. It gives people control over their own energy need. But it is not just for people without electricity. Even in places where power is reliable, this invention makes sense. Think about how much energy we waste. Think about how often you forget to charge your phone overnight and wake up with 10% battery, or how you are out all day and your battery dies right when you need it most. With this shoe, you have a backup. You have peace of mind. You are generating power with something you are already doing anyway, walking. And from an environmental perspective, this is huge. We are always looking for cleaner, greener ways to generate energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, and hydroelectric dams are all great, but they require infrastructure, space, and resources. This is energy generation at the individual level. You are not burning fossil fuels. You are not plugging into a grid powered by coal or gas. You are using your own movement, your own body. It is renewable, it is sustainable, and it is right there in your shoe. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Anthony Mutua's invention is part of the larger movement toward wearable technology. We have fitness trackers that monitor steps, smartwatches that track heart rates, and clothes with sensors that measure body temperature. But this invention takes wearable tech to a whole new level because it does not just track data. It generates power and turns your body into a power source, opening up many exciting possibilities. Imagine if this technology scaled up so that every shoe in the world had this chip. Billions of people would generate electricity with every step, creating a massive amount of energy. What if that energy could power more than just phones? What if it powered lights in homes, charged laptops, or even fed energy back into the grid? Suddenly, walking would not only be exercise, but a real contribution to the energy supply. Of course, this invention is not perfect yet. Like any new technology, it requires refinement, scaling, and becoming more affordable and accessible to the masses. It is still relatively new, so not everyone has heard of it or has access to it. However, the fact that it exists and works is a crucial first step, and a very big one. There are also questions about efficiency. While an 800-meter walk can charge your phone under ideal conditions, real life is rarely perfect. What if you are not walking briskly? What if you shuffle slowly? What if the chip is not positioned quite right in your shoe? These real-world variables need to be tested and optimized, but this is just the beginning. With more development, investment, and research, this technology could become something everyone uses daily. Anthony Mutua's story is inspiring for many reasons. He graduated from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, where he studied electrical and electronic engineering. He recognized a problem in his community, people struggling to keep their phones charged, and instead of accepting the situation, he decided to create a solution. He did not wait for someone else to fix it or complain about the lack of infrastructure. He took action and invented something. This mindset is what drives innovation and changes the world. It is not always about having the most resources or the biggest budget, but about seeing a need and figuring out how to meet it. Anthony did exactly that. And now his invention is gaining attention not just in Kenya, but globally. He founded Mutua Technologies to develop and promote his inventions, and he also started the Anthony Mutua Foundation, which works on projects that use technology to improve people's lives. He is not just an inventor, He is an entrepreneur, a leader, and someone using his skills to make a difference. So where does this go from here? That is the big question. Will everyone be wearing charging shoes in 5 years? Maybe, maybe not. But the technology is here, it is proven, and it works. As more people learn about it, as companies take interest, and as investment grows, we could see this become mainstream. Imagine walking into a store and seeing these shoes on the shelf, as common as buying a phone charger or a power bank. We live in a world where we depend on our devices more than ever. Phones are no longer just phones. They are cameras, maps, wallets, and connections to everyone and everything. When that battery dies, it causes stress and inconvenience. Anything that solves this problem and gives us more freedom and power will be huge. Anthony Mutua's charging shoe is more than a clever invention. It offers a glimpse into the future, where we rely less on outlets and charging stations and instead harness the energy we create just by living our lives. A future where technology works with us rather than against us. That future is pretty exciting. So next time you walk to work or take a stroll in the park, think about all the energy you are creating. Think about how it currently disappears into the ground with every step, and how someone had the vision to capture that energy, turning your footsteps into power.